Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode number 146. And we've actually got a win to speak about, and a comfortable one at that, because Hearts travelled to Fir Park and took all 3 points back with them. As ever, I am Dan McIver, and talking about that and a whole lot more, I'm joined by Adam Kennedy. Adam, how are you?
I'm good, mate. It's nice to come on to an episode of the victory to talk about. That's not happened all that frequently. So yeah, actually looking forward to this one because it's nice to just sort of, I don't know, focus on Hearts and just forget about everything else in life as I tend to do. So yeah, I'm a busy boy at the minute, so let's just talk about Hearts and Hearts only. How are you?
Yeah, doing good because Hearts are doing good. So you know that it's just good. That as a baseline, it's like, right, we're doing fine. And yeah, as we said, not only did we get a win, but it was also a very dominant, very well deserved and earned
Yeah,
win.
very uncharacteristic of both this football club and the podcast that will be, just overjoyed at the thought of Hearts at the weekend. It's nice. Yeah, your mood and Hearts results tend to go hand in hand. So enter this in pretty good fettle, actually.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. But obviously, before we speak about that, we have to speak about the other games that happened in the league. And there was actually some midweek games. Obviously, we recorded after the Motherwell game, so we knew that. But as we were recording, there was a small matter of the third best team in the country playing our direct rivals, as Hibs went, as Hibs seem to do right now, comfortably go ahead, get pegged back, then late on get a winner. But no, with the last kick of the game, St Mirren managed to rescue a point at home against Hibs 2-2. And then obviously we move into the weekend's game. St Johnstone get a massive victory under new manager Craig Levein to go to 10th in the table for
What
the
a wild
first
sentence
time.
that is in 2023, isn't it?
It's
That is a
amazing.
wild sentence.
Absolutely amazing as Malky Mackay's men just continue to plummet through the table. And then obviously we have our game. Hibs managed to get over that midweek bump by defeating Kilmarnock 1-0 at Easter Road. Then the shock of the week absolutely was St Mirren travelling to Dens Park and Dundee handily scudding them 4-0 at home, a result I don't think anybody saw coming at all. And then on the Sunday, both Old Firm teams played. The not as important or talked about game was Rangers winning 2-0 Livingston, although decisions was very much the point of call in that kind of analysis. But then at Parkhead later in the afternoon, there was the small matter of Aberdeen being 3-0 down in the 89th minute and the game finishing 6-0 to Celtic. So a whole lot of stuff happened. What did you make of the other fixtures this week?
Well, where do I begin with all that? St Mirren, Hibs have got a knack of getting a result in Paisley, and it's really annoying me.
Yeah.
So yeah, the less said about that, the better. Although a draw, given the nick of the league table, was probably the best result
It was
for us.
very beneficial for us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. However, St Mirren going up to Dundee and getting scalped 4-0 at Dens. Wow. I mean, no Mark O'Hara for St Mirren, obviously the club captain.
Yeah.
I think that just goes to show you how big a player he is for
I
them in
think
midfield.
Stephen Robertson said as well there was like a sickness bug or something going
Yeah, I
through
did
the
hear that.
squad.
But then I look at the team that started, and most of it tends to be their
Yeah, it
regular
looks pretty
starters.
first
So
choice. Maybe it's one
yeah,
of those where there's a sickness bug
I
going
think
through the team.
our man Robo's at it.
Yeah.
Expected Hibs to bounce back from
Yeah.
that disappointing draw, as you say, because Kilmarnock's away record is just absolutely woeful. Couldn't
Yep.
tell you the last time they won a game away from home in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously they knocked us out of the League Cup at Tynecastle last season, so that's really annoying just because they just can't play away from home. St Johnstone, wow,
Come on, Pig!
I actually did fancy them to beat Ross County, but I thought that it would be a much more entertaining game. That's just two absolutely jobby teams, fighting it out at the bottom, as you could say about a lot of this league. As we'll probably come on to actually. And in terms of the Old Firm games, Livingston Rangers, my goodness. I mean, where do, like How many penalties do Rangers actually want to get? Like, it actually is a joke when you think about it. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that conspiracy theorist, but what's that? 6 in about as many days? Like,
Yeah.
how many do you
Yeah.
want? And the one that they like, the first one is never in a million years. Never in a million years a penalty kick.
Yeah. Believe me,
Um,
I think penalty decisions will be a through line in
oh
this
my
episode.
goodness
But,
gracious me. But, wild. I don't want to say too much about Aberdeen getting hit for 6 at Parkhead because I'm conscious of the fact that we head there, what is it, next month? But it
Still funny.
it is objectively quite funny. I just don't understand how Aberdeen can do so well on the continent, and yet when it comes to playing domestic games, they genuinely look like 11 strangers. It's actually unbelievable. But it just goes to show you exactly where Scottish football's at, that Celtic can get over a 6-0 pumping in Europe in the midweek. And come the weekend, they dispatch the side that finished third in last season's Scottish Premiership table by the exact same scoreline. So, yeah, I think for me, the surprises were probably Dundee, us, and Aberdeen's late collapse, all of which really entertained me. So, yeah, decent weekend on the whole. What were your thoughts?
Pretty much agreed across the board, really. I think it was a weekend, probably apart from Hibs getting a win at Kilmarnock, it was actually quite a good weekend for us as well in terms of results going our way.
Very much so.
I know that currently we're tied points with Dundee, but St Mirren getting beat so heavily very much benefited us because, listen, Dundee are on a very good run so far, but I don't see them maintaining that for the whole season. So them taking
safety's the aim for Dundee, and they won't care as soon as they survive. I'm just looking at McIver. Obviously, 9 points between 3rd and 12th. There are 3 teams on a goal difference of exactly 0, and that's us, St Mirren, and Kilmarnock. The Old Firm are the only 2 that have a positive one.
Before the Celtic game, Aberdeen were as well. I think Aberdeen have a -6 goal difference now.
Yeah.
They were also on 0. So a quarter of the league were on 0 goal difference on Saturday night.
Dundee -1, Hibs -2, Motherwell and Aberdeen both -6, St Johnstone and Ross County both -10, and Livingston -12. What a wacky, crazy, mental division this really is.
Yes, it absolutely is. And obviously, we are apparently in crisis points at all times. However, that crisis point team travelled to Motherwell, where despite Motherwell's terrible form, no wins in their last 9 before playing us, I think most Hearts fans were like, we know where that first win's coming from. And when the team came out,
since they last beat us at Tynecastle in the reverse fixture as well, I might add. So the fact that we could have simultaneously started and ended said horrific run, it just seemed an absolute nap that would be the case.
It would be very hard of Midlothian. I'd be interested to know if you thought that was going to be the case when the team came out, because the team came out and there was, for me at least, one big talking point that I saw a lot of people speaking about, and it was more of an omission rather than someone included in the squad.
Is that an omission in the middle of the park by any chance?
It was indeed. Yes. So Hearts lined up in a 3-5-2 formation with Xander Clark in goals, Kingsley, Kent and Rolls as a back 3, Cochrane and Alan Forrest as 2 wing-backs, a midfield 3 of Nieuwenhof, Benny Beningame and Alex Lowry, with Lawrence Shankland and Liam Boyce up top. Now, obviously, Alex Lowry has been both unable to play in 2 of the last 3 games because we've been playing against Rangers, but then in the one in the middle, got a head knock and was going through concussion protocols, so therefore he wouldn't have been able to play in the semi-final anyway. This was his return game back. However, the main person that was being spoken about was Mr. Cammy Devlin, who, I mean, I don't want to just objectively say has had a falling out with Stephen Naismith, but as a completely outside onlooker, it very much looks that way, because why is Devlin not starting games especially when he, prior to the weekend, obviously, has been pretty much one of the few objective positives of the season so far?
I mean, my man didn't even come off the bench.
Yeah.
So, you know that way where, like, I feel like, and I'd love to know the stats on this, if Cammy Devlin is not in the starting 11, I think he's pretty much a cert to come on, particularly if we're trying to close out the game, just because of that relentless pressing that he'll give you. It's as though he'd kind of come on and make do for everybody, sort of gradually deteriorating in fitness toward the end of a game. Look, I don't know anything. I don't. I'm not aware of any falling out behind the scenes. But what I would say is, as much as I feel like we do need some creativity in midfield, I think the two that would sit in front of a back 4 or 3, I think Benny and Neuenhoff are pretty much cementing themselves as that kind of first choice 2 at the minute.
I think that's very fair. However, I also think the semi-final proved that it doesn't work a lot of the time, though, where we miss that energy in the middle.
I feel like it's probably just more exposed on that big pitch, no?
That's fair, but I also felt that whilst it worked at Ibrox, I did think in the second half we missed a form of energy, and then when Cammy Devlin comes on, he gets chucked out at right wing back.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you. I do find it weird that he doesn't feature at some stage.
I think especially with its push this forward isn't just the fact that he's not been playing, because that can happen. That players can cycle through. It's the talking in the media from Devlin publicly saying that he couldn't believe he wasn't selected, and then in his press conference, Stephen Naismith making a little dig, being like, "Well, the team I picked worked pretty well against Rangers at Ibrox."
What did he actually say? Did he say that he couldn't believe that he wasn't selected?
I will get the
that's not a great quote to run with.
I will get the exact quote for you.
That's not all the best media training either.
Cammy Devlin admits that his recent Hearts exclusion is frustrating during what he reckons has been his most consistent season in Maroon. I
feel like you could just insert name here over like the last, like how many times have we seen this over the past couple of seasons? If it wasn't Cammy Devlin, it was George Grant. If it wasn't George Grant, it was Aaron McInnes. If it wasn't Aaron McInnes, it was somebody else. This seems to be a recurring theme.
I would say a better example is Alex Cochrane last season under
good shout
Nielsen. So
that's
the exact quote,
Andy Halliday will probably be next on Clyde One or open goal.
Probably. The exact quote is from the Evening News, and clearly Cammy was asked about his thoughts about missing out in the semi-final, and he went, "It's probably a question for the coaches rather than me. It's frustrating because I feel like I've been playing some really good stuff this season on a more consistent basis than previous years. I've been confident going into games. Everyone knows my strengths in terms of winning the ball, but I also feel like I'm doing more for the team on the ball as well. Any player wants to play every single game, and I'm no different. I'll keep working hard in every session to be playing in every single game. It's only the 2 Rangers games I haven't started, so I can't really be stressed too much. But being the person I am, that's something I do naturally. Anyway, if you feel sorry for yourself and get down in the dumps, the only person you will harm is yourself. Nazy, Frankie and Gordy make decisions based on what they think at the time, and as a player, you just have to accept them. I'm not the sort of guy to be moaning and complaining. I just try and get on with it. I'm fully confident in myself." I think that's a pretty fair assessment of what's gone on this season.
I think that is a great example as to why you click on the piece and don't just get roped in by the headline.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was the thing. Everybody said, "Oh, Devlin's kicked off." And I read it at the time and went, I don't think he's kicked off, because he was asked a question about his thoughts and why he's not started a semi-final.
I also don't think he said anything too outlandish there.
No, not at all.
I think they are pretty, not mundane answers, but sort of run-of-the-mill answers. Like, what do you want him to say?
Yeah, totally. And then I actually also have the headline is what Stephen Naismith has said on Cammy Devlin's Hearts frustration. And then the byline is the Hearts boss appears unfazed by criticism surrounding Cammy Devlin. The exact quote from...
As if he's going to cave in and go, "Shit, do you know what? You lot are right. I'll start him on Saturday, and if he performs, then you could take the credit. And if he doesn't, then we'll all just blame on me."
So when asked whether he understood Devlin's frustrations, the Jambos boss said, "At Ibrox, I don't know if he can complain about the players who were playing in that match. I think the team we picked was very good, and it showed in the performance and showed that for 90 minutes we were winning the game." And then I love the edit here. Hearts did, however, go on to lose that particular game 2-1. I just love the way that it's been done.
See, like, who'd be a manager, honestly?
The editorial. I think I don't want, and I was saying this on Twitter, I don't want player power to get into a massive thing where it's like, yeah, listen, the manager picks the team and that's what it should be. The problem is if it continues like this and we don't, the best thing that happened for Naismith was that we had a very confident, clear, dominant win at the weekend afterwards.
Fully.
The problem is because we know what football fans and particularly Hearts fans are like. If for the St Johnstone game the same thing happens and we don't get the 3 points, people will then
why did Devlin not come back in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do think it's though important that I'm worried this turns into a Cochrane Nielsen thing where it was like, I don't care about your personal issues with each other. Nielsen hindered the team by not playing one of our best players.
Does that then... I need to choose my words carefully. Does that then... Are we learning about the squad with kind of their characteristics and their makeup when they come out and have feuds with their gaffers?
I don't think so, because I think it would say that if it was players who were very inconsistent, barely in the team, and then are picking up a massive
these two are first choices a good few years ago.
Yeah, like, especially the
Cochrane, and are probably two of the fans' favourites.
Yeah, the Cochrane one, especially last season, infuriated me, not just because I love Alex Cochrane, but because it was like, there's arguments to be made he's player of the year behind Shankland here, and you're just not playing him, and it's at a detriment to results as well.
So which is ultimately a detriment to your job.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's very fair for football players who are in good form, playing well, and then suddenly, potentially due to personal issues or just tactical issues, go, why am I not playing? Again, it's different. Devlin didn't just walk into a press conference and go, before anybody says anything, by the way, I'm fucking livid. He was asked a question about if he was frustrated. And as you said, he gave a very media-trained answer where he's like, yes, I'm frustrated personally, but I'm going to use it to kick on and I understand the manager's decision.
It's, do you know what it's like? I don't know. I don't know where I want to go with this, because like,
I think you can't settle on anything yet because we're in the very early stages of this even potentially being a thing. And then he might start against St Johnstone and everybody will be like, oh, so there was nothing in it at all.
I mean, God forbid that we have players that perform in positions at somebody else's detriment. I mean, previously, we wouldn't have had these problems if we were shit. Let's just go back to that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is a non-starter. If somebody comes in and is performing, that's the way it is. If you're upset at somebody coming in and performing and that's ultimately taking your jersey, then the level you're playing football at is perhaps too great for you.
In fairness, if that person that's coming in is George Grant, who then does nothing in a semi-final, I'd probably be pretty pissed off as well.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It depends.
I thought the other two were all right though.
Yeah,
Benny and Neuenhoff.
If Benny and Neuenhoff, like they did, I don't think Benny was great in the semi-final. I think Benny was fine in the semi-final. I don't think Devlin would have been any better.
Benny was excellent the weekend though.
Benny and Neuenhoff, I thought, were pretty excellent the weekend.
Like, there's only so many players that you can keep happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
totally.
How many players does a manager keep happy on a Saturday?
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
11 and maybe 14 at a max if somebody's come on.
Yeah.
And has been given like the assurance that they'll play next week because they've just come on and changed the game, or I don't know, played their part and ultimately yielding the result. But other than that, it's a pretty tough task.
Yeah, it very much is. However, what wasn't a tough task, actually, surprisingly,
you're welcome for the seamless segue.
All right, was Hearts' performance at Fir Park, because almost immediately we were straight in. 2 minutes in, Alex Lowry goes for goal from a shot from the edge of the box that initially I was like,
a bad effort.
I was like, that's well wide. And then you see that replay behind the goal and you're like, oh, no, it's coming in. It's
not a bad effort at all.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to say it now because apart from the goal, this is the only positive thing I will say about Motherwell, and it's not even really that positive. 4 minutes in, Motherwell swinging a corner that is met by an unmarked Theo Bair that almost hits the other corner flag.
That's not a positive. That is a sitter. That is a free header. I would go as far as to say if that's any other Scottish Premiership team's main marksman, that's probably a goal.
Or at least is on target and needs
at least
to be well
at least
saved.
works the goalkeeper. Yeah. That is a shocking effort. Like he is awful.
Yeah, he's
really bad. I don't know what they saw. Like, who thought that a guy that scored 1 goal last season for St Johnstone should come in and replace Kevin Van Veen, one of Motherwell's most prolific strikers in recent years, and has then earned a move back to his native Netherlands for a commanding fee despite his age? It honestly, it baffles me.
Yeah.
He's rotten.
However, going from one really bad miss to a kind of bad miss, we have really good pressing, actually. Shankland, Lowry and Boyce move as a 3 constantly from side to side.
Oh, my God.
Shankland does very well as he blocks a clearance that, handily and luckily for us, falls directly into the path of Alex Lowry, who...
Big fan of the press.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the fact that the press is as a unit and not just individual players pushing.
How annoying is that? And we spoke about Cammy Devlin previously. It's often just him.
Yeah, exactly.
He just runs. He's like a little toddler. He just runs off on his own. Yeah. And the parents go, oh, shit, we actually need to watch our boy.
Exactly. But Alex Lowry does very well. Then squares it to Liam Boyce. I'm doing all the favours in the world to the guy here. The ball is slightly behind him, so has to stop instead of running onto it. And then Boyce does that thing that he does. I was going to say, I do think that is the case. I think the pass is fine. I don't think it's this perfect on a platter pass.
No, it's not. But
I think it's all right.
Like, we love Liam Boyce, but he's got to do better. I'm sorry.
But then he does that thing that he does where he drags his foot over the top of the ball, and he tries to. I think what he does with that is he wants to make the keeper think he's going across the keeper and then just fire it
in his near post.
Yeah. However, it goes just past the post wide. And you can see by Boyce's immediate reaction.
He knows.
He's like, oh, shit. However...
that's the sign of a top player as well, McIver.
Yeah,
sorry.
Totally.
Like, when it is such a gilt-edged chance, it's not like it's a one-on-one.
Yeah.
But it's a situation that he feels that he should score.
Yeah.
And he knows that we're disappointed he didn't score. And he knows in himself. I mean, Liam Boyce is a top player.
Yeah.
This is a guy that scored, 25, 30 goals in a Ross County team?
Yeah.
So he clearly does have that in his locker. But it's that... This is where, like, he frustrates some Hearts fans. And some Hearts fans go, well, he had that one season at Ross County. It was absolutely outrageous. I thought we were getting a 20-goal season striker. It's like, not really.
No, we're getting the most intelligent player at the football club.
Yeah, and a selfless striker as well, Liam Boyce. I don't mind him taking the effort on because we barely ever see it. Usually try and, square that or lay it on a plate for somebody else. It doesn't come off. Granted, we go on and win the game, so it's no biggie. If we hadn't, we might be saying something else. But let's overlook that scenario. I'm done with all the negativity of recent weeks.
Yeah.
We're going to be as positive as we can.
And I don't think there is a bigger positive than for the fact that Heart of Midlothian scored from a corner. I'd never thought I'd see it ever happen again. But
hallelujah.
Alex Lowry swings in the same ball he's swung in about 100 times this season, aiming for Frankie.
No. Well, this is actually one of his better ones.
Yeah, that's true. I should say the ball that he's always trying to swing in, but kind of is 50-50.
Away from home, they're far greater than the ones at Tynecastle. His Tynecastle deliveries have been honking. But this is a beauty.
Frankie Kent meets it at the back post as he always tries to do, and he's actually heading it towards goal. And then, just the most incredible of touches from Lawrence Shankland sends it past Liam Kelly. It's 1-0. Shankland takes it to 4 goals in 5 games, 9 goals up until that point, and it is an unbelievable finish from Shankland.
I can't believe that more's not been made of the finish.
Same.
I really can't. It's outrageous. It very much reminded me of a goal Manchester United scored under Sir Alex Ferguson, where Javi Hernandez, I think he's at Stoke, and he headers from a corner back the way.
Oh my God, yeah. I
You,
remember
you know,
that.
you know when a striker just tries to get something on it, but they
Yeah.
know exactly what they're doing. Hernandez knows exactly where to place that header, and it's
Yeah.
past the Stoke keeper in a flash. That is absolutely top from Lawrence Shankland. If that was in a top 5 major league,
Yeah.
that would be replayed over and over and over. It'd be shared on every single football site that there is. It's a wonderful finish, and it's so good because he knows exactly where he's putting it as well.
Yeah.
He gets enough where he wraps his foot around it. I don't even know how he does it.
No, same.
He wraps his foot around it to such a degree where he then flicks it back, and it's right in the corner. Like, Liam Kelly has no chance. Neither does the numpty that's on the line try to defend it. It's a wonderful, wonderful finish. And this is, one of Scottish football's biggest penalty merchants. That's now, 4 in a row. Obviously, he scores a 5th later on. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sick of hearing that Lawrence Shankland is a penalty merchant. He's far much more than that. If we accept any bids in January for him, I will cry.
We need to get him into a new deal. We need to get him into a new deal
ASAP. I don't give a shit if you've got to give him assurances that he can go in the summer or what. Get that man tied down because he's wonderful, isn't he? It's so see when you've got a centre forward that scores goals. What a game changer! I mean, what a morale boost that is, both to the team and he's a captain. He's the complete forward. If he had that little bit more pace,
he wouldn't be at us.
No. And now he's back in the Scotland squad. Hope he can feature against Georgia.
I don't want him going.
No, I do. I hope he gets. I hope he either starts or gets off the bench. He'll probably get off the bench. And if he can bag one, that's great.
If he can do that without getting hurt, fine. But I'd rather he just gets wrapped in cotton wool and gets to just sit on the sidelines.
Can I just say as well, isn't it nice that Scotland don't enter these 2 games with any pressure? So he could, Steve Clarke could well dish out a chance or 2 to a player like a Lawrence Shankland. I hope he does, but I can't say I'm too confident that'll be the case. So let's move on.
Well, from the sublime to the ridiculous, because the incident happens that has been talked about from this game.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Hearts are pressing, and Motherwell go to clear the ball. However, Neuenhoff heads the ball back towards the Motherwell box. It's taken down by Boyce, who is, I don't know how else to put this simply, studied in the chest by Dan Casey. In the immediate moment, the referee doesn't give anything, which is
baffling.
VAR then does what it was paid for to do and goes, no, go and look at this. This is mental.
And then I think we get an all-time Scottish football first, whereby the referee wanders over to the monitor and goes, no, actually, I think I was right to not award the spot kick. How many times have you seen that? Can I just say, shocked that we are pretty much the first
team,
where the referee goes over and thinks, I've made a rip-roaring see you next Tuesday of this. I better give the penalty. But he's that adamant that he got it right. Crazy.
Everyone I've seen is like, as I say, I've said in this podcast before, I've got one of my mates is a Hibs fan. He messaged me going, how have you not got that? That is a stone waller. And I don't get this argument with Pat Niven, Kenny McIntyre and all that, where on the radio saying, Boyce has dived, he's gone down holding his face. That would work as an argument if VR didn't exist. So the referee saw it didn't hit him in the face, so he's just going, get up. But then VR goes, listen, he might be holding his face. He probably should just hold his chest where he gets hit. But that's irrespective, because as you said, he goes over the screen and gets about 10 different angles of, by the way, he gets studied in the chest here.
How many do you want? Did Pat Nevin or Kenny McIntyre call out Ross McCausland's dive at Ammanville?
Exactly. Very
interesting that. Dare I say it? I wonder if had Liam Boyce had a green and white hoop top on, or a top that's blue, white, and red, it might well have been given, but don't know. Funny that.
It's really exactly funny. What Naismith said after the semi-final. First thought for any team outside the Old Firm is, oh, it's probably not
He's
that.
played for both. Like,
Yeah.
that's something that you want an example from. Can I just say, I know that we're backtracking here a wee bit, but talking about what ex-Rangers strikers have come out and said, please tell me you saw Chris Boyd lose his melon on Sky
Just having an
about
absolute
Celtic and
meltdown.
Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny. I
That is
don't know why I
funny.
brought that up, but it's a good laugh.
I should have mentioned it because it was very funny. Just a crazy decision. And I disagree with the people
Mental,
who,
mate.
as a result, were like, oh, this is here, VAR's failed here. I'm like, VAR didn't fail. VAR did everything right.
No, again, I can't reiterate this enough. I'm not an advocate of VAR, but the technology works.
Yeah.
It's the numpties that are operating said technology. McIver, I wouldn't let a monkey get behind the wheel of my car. Like, what are we doing here?
It's unbelievable.
And I heard somebody today. I think I was listening to the Go. It was the Go Radio Football Show, and Mark Guidi was on there, and he was talking about. He'd heard that the SFA were adamant that it'll take like towards the end of the decade for them to get VAR right. Hold on a second, we're in 2023. You're not telling me it's going to take 7 years for us to get up to speed. I mean, what are they down the road? 3 years? And granted, they've still not got it right, but 7 years? That's how long we're going to have to wait. Absolute nonsense. Miles off it, man.
To go back to the positives, because basically we use to do these notes Hearts TV, and Hearts TV then doesn't show a highlight from this in the 30th minute to the 70th minute. So I do have a couple of things I want to speak about in there. I just want to mention them again because I thought, apart from obviously Shanklin's man of the match in this game, obviously, but in terms of overall performance, I thought Kai Rolls again was exceptional. He just had no problem at all. And I know, again, it's like the Livingston game. He didn't have much to deal with, but I really appreciate, I've started to notice how progressive Kai Rolls is with the ball. The amount of times where the first ball that gets played into the final third is from Kai Rolls, just taking it forward.
He's a better passer of the ball than when he first arrived, I think,
definitely.
for sure. Definitely. And again, like that coming out from the back with the ball, that's confidence. That comes from confidence. If you're in your shell, there's no way that you even think to do that because you're adamant that you're going to lose it or your pass will be slack. It'll be pounced upon. You know, I feel as though he's really growing this season.
Yeah,
and again, I said it when he signed that deal. Prior to that, he was superb. As soon as he came back from Qatar, we were thinking, where the hell, did they leave the real Kai Rolls in Qatar? Now it appears as though he's getting back to his best, which is great to see. I think he's been one of kind of our unsung heroes this season so far for me. And I'm a big fan of his Movember Tash, so I hope he keeps it as well.
Absolutely. And then Hearts TV didn't include this, but I remember it. In the second half, the around 60th minute, Callum Slattery gets booked for a challenge, and the ensuing free kick is swung into the box. It's kind of headed out and then swung back in. I don't know who it is, but a Motherwell player jumps up in the air as Liam Boyce is standing still and falls over. But the ball, as a result, lands at Lawrence Shanklin's feet. And Callum Slattery, who's just been booked, swipes his legs out from underneath him and takes him out. And there's still no penalty because it's decided that Liam Boyce fouled the guy, even though when you watch the highlights back, he's standing with his hands up going, I've not moved. I've literally not moved here. And Shankland is rightly fuming.
It's at this point that I question that the VAR monitor is even on. Was there a power cut in ML1? Because obviously, even Stuart Kettlewell's scintillating form as Motherwell manager came to an abrupt end. The kettle had stopped boiling. Now I'm adamant that there's been a power cut at Fir Park and nothing works. Has the referee borrowed somebody's shades to go and have a look at the monitor with, and he can't? What is happening here? This is it's nonsense. It's all right us saying this now because we've won.
Yeah.
If we get thrown points away in this, and again, people's job, Stephen Naismith's job.
Well, yeah, imagine Naismith.
He needed this win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this could very easily have gone against him. And that's
Totally.
it's not his doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, folk will argue that, okay, results hadn't been great up to that point. That is his doing. But
yeah. But you need to look at the context of a game, and that could have thrown it completely.
It all adds up. These 3 points could prove pivotal. So that's why I'm just delighted to see us get them.
Totally. And the way that we did that was a few minutes later, we get our second
segue. We don't fire here.
We're just see what a win does. Just everything gets better. Benny Beningame in the middle plays a poor pass. But
oh my God, no, let's not sugarcoat that. That is one of the worst passes I've ever seen that man play.
I don't know what he's going for.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
But it makes amends with it.
It doesn't matter because the ball comes back to him.
Thankfully, gets a second bite of the cherry.
And this time, he plays a lovely through ball. Lawrence Shankland clearly screams at Alex Lowry to leave it.
Get away!
Because Lowry does a great dummy and Shankland is bearing down on goal. He goes past Liam Kelly and makes a very hard finish look very easy.
Just run out of praise for that man.
Yeah.
I love him with all my being. Yeah, what a wonderful footballer.
So deserved as well. I think now's probably a good time to speak about it. I thought we were really good. I think this is our best performance of this season.
Yeah,
I thought we were really good. And because like Livingston, we were very dominant, but a lot of that I think was down to how bad Livingston were.
And in terms of like plucking one out from somewhere, I think it would have been very easy for us to go, well, we've had back-to-back games against Rangers, albeit the Livingston games have been sandwiched in between. We've come away with nothing. It'd be easy for the players to kind of not go into their shells, but certainly feel morale was down in the camp.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's a huge 3 points for us. I really, really do. And
I do think that part of that is because we just played really well. I think against most teams, if we played like that against most teams, I still think we would have won so comfortably. But it does have the adage of how atrocious Motherwell are right now. It felt like a home game, which I feel like for a part we often struggle even when we win. Mind that game where we won like 3-0 or something, a season or something ago, and it was like, this should have been a draw at least.
And you'd think if we'd have won 2-1, we'd have snuck it. Like those results should probably be the other way around.
Yeah, totally.
It's absolutely crazy, but it's a funny old game, McIver.
Yes.
But it's I do agree with that. It just I don't know. They were really, really bad, Motherwell. Really, I
don't know
poor.
what they're doing either. Like in the first half, they're playing Blair Spittle at left wing back. Like I don't know what that is. They've got, I think, in the squad for the game and who ended up appearing on the park, they played 5 strikers from either starting or coming on the bench, and they're ending it with Bevis Mugabe up front. He just try and get something. Like how are they in that position?
Like a second ball. Yeah, I don't know. But then you go through their centre forward options. The boy Beereth on loan from Arsenal, everybody was ranting and raving about.
He seems the best out of a bad bunch.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Then you've got Connor Wilkinson.
Nah, awful.
Terrible. I'd rather Connor Washington.
Yeah.
You've then got Theo Bayer, who,
Terrible.
As we've discussed, honking. Ollie Shaw is somehow there.
The best young player in Europe a few years ago. I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you speaking about him in that derogatory sense?
Yeah, that's why Leanne Dempster's not been back in the top flight. Absolutely awful. A really, really poor catalogue.
In fairness,
and yet, Kevin Van Veen's probably better than those 5 combined.
Yeah, they've also got a Bika who just seems to only score against us.
Don't mention him. No, we're overlooking him.
As soon as he came on, I was like, I know where this is going. No. I know where it's going. But Motherwell did get back into it in the 76th minute as Connor swung in and it is fired towards Alex Cochrane, who just has his hand up. I love that he tries to go, I was putting my hand up to protect my face though, ref, even though your hand was up before the ball had even left the guy's foot.
And there's no issue with the monitor here, is there?
No, exactly. No, it's like,
get out.
That's a penalty. Blair Spittle does step up and score. However, I'll be honest, I never once felt like we were going to concede again because it just looked terrible.
not during the game, but certainly when the ball hit the net, I was thinking, oh shit,
Yeah,
here we go.
you naturally do that.
Oh, and given like the amount of individual errors that we've seen in recent weeks, I'm thinking, please, somebody don't do something stupid now.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
totally.
don't piss this away from such a commanded position. Because again, looking at events elsewhere, Dundee were cruising, the stars were pretty much aligning.
Yeah.
If we could take advantage here, it'd be brilliant for us. But
And
thankfully, we managed to do exactly that.
we managed to do exactly that in what is, I'm calling, the highlight of the season so far.
This is delicious content.
Listen, I think Toby Sibbick generally did very well when he came on. I think Alan Force was getting in behind, and then I think Sibbick did well.
He needed a performance as well. Yeah. This is great. Like, this is really, really good.
It's great.
Stephen Naismith needed a result.
Yep.
Lauren Shankland needed to prove that, goals are just a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Benny Beningame needed a big performance because of Hampden. Toby Sibbick needed a contribution because of individual errors from him in recent weeks.
Kai Rolls just continued to
Kai Rolls needed to again reassure the fans that confidence is everything. No qualms about recent defeats. Liam Boyce needed a start, you could argue, again, to try and let him and Shanklin just go up front.
Kingsley
could have done with that goal, but we'll move on that.
His steady improvement over time.
Alex Lowry needed decent deliveries from corner. Frankie Kent needed decent deliveries from corners. Plays a part in that goal.
Yeah.
So everything came together. It all went swimmingly,
and it all came together for this final 6 minutes.
That is exactly the type of content I want to see.
As substitute Toby Sibbick, Lawrence Shankland, and making his 50th appearance for the club, George Grant. This is probably his best thing he's ever done for the club.
Without a doubt. That and the Vargas pass the other week.
Exactly.
That's it.
Maybe he is right to be in ahead of Devlin. What a 3 weeks he's having. But Lauren Shankland.
What a week.
Toby Sibbick and George Grant for 4.5 minutes keep that ball in the corner flag area with apparent ease. They were just taking the piss, basically. And it is the best for a team that has been often said this season that they're weak-minded. When we concede, we tend to concede a couple that aren't confident in themselves. The confidence and mental strength to just be like, we can take this into the corner and we're going to keep it from you. It's the best thing in football ever. And I can't remember a Hearts team that's done it that effectively in years.
No, definitely not. I think when I was watching Celtic and Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, I thought to myself, Diego Simeone really is the master of the dark arts.
Yeah.
I love the dark arts, me. I know it's horrible. I know it's anti-football. I couldn't give a toss. That sort of stuff, I love that sort of shithousery. Absolutely anything that you can get on your side to win and see out a massive 3 points. Brilliant. Really, really pleased. You could just watch that on repeat. I think I did a couple of times.
Yeah, same.
Heart stats just sped it up, and I was just like, inject that content.
Just great stuff.
When you get somebody as riled up as Motherwell were, it just, it's so sweet. And game management, we've talked about like our concerns regarding game management recently. Nice to see that we know what we're doing. Bring back horrible Hearts. It's been long enough. We've been too nice recently. Exactly. We've sort of lured everybody into thinking that we're good guys. No, get it up them. To hell with the rest of the world. Exactly. Anything to win.
So that meant that we go into the international break 2 points behind St Mirren in third. Obviously, we won't be having an episode next week as it is the international break. And then we welcome the Hearts duo of Craig Levein and Ryan McGowan back to Tynecastle as St Johnstone, who are on a 3-game unbeaten run, actually. In better form than us, technically.
7 points from 9.
Yep. How are you feeling about it? Does it scream?
Getting scared.
Does it scream a 1-0 Craig Levein win with a Ryan McGowan goal?
No, I think Ryan McGowan heads across goal for maybe Nicky Clark and Sandy, the Demons of Sandy Clark.
Oh, no, Nicky Clark's out for 2 months.
Oh, is he out?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that. I'm not really out. That's a blessing because he's the best player by a country mile.
Yeah. We have to win. We have to beat them.
We do have to win because December is
A
disgusting.
nightmare. Yeah.
Oh, it looks horrible. I genuinely think like that St Mirren game on the 23rd, that could be our best next chance of 3 points because the rest of it, you look at and think, Jesus. But no, do you know what? Yes, St Johnstone are on a good run. Yes, they'll come and be probably up there with David Martindale's Livingston in terms of anti-football. But I do feel as though we have sufficient quality to break them down. Listen, we've got one of the best marksmen in Scotland. That always gives you a chance, McIver. If we can keep it tight at the back, not give anything too silly away, then we're in with a chance. I just hope, like Livingston, we're patient. We don't try and force the issue. Yeah. We don't necessarily rush. And I know that the Tynecastle crowd are going to get annoyed that I'm viewing it like that. But as long as we keep a cool head and try and work and create decent opportunities, then I think we'll be fine. I really do.
Can I get a score prediction from you?
2-1.
I was also going to say 2-1 us.
I'll go 2-0 then. We'll differ.
Okay, cool. Right.
Another clean sheet.
That's good. I hope you're right.
A clean sheet would be nice.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But we will see. However, as ever, we end on the quiz. So,
a bit nervous for this because you're happy with this quiz and that doesn't usually bode well for me, so that's not good.
I'm chuffed with this quiz. As ever, we have 2 normal questions. Who am I at the end? Multiple choice and a true or false. We're starting with just one of the regular questions.
Oh, okay.
So, which team does Stephen Naismith have the best aggregate score against as Hearts manager? So I've taken 3 of the teams that Stephen Naismith has never lost to as Hearts manager thus far.
Oof.
St Johnstone, Kilmarnock, or Livingston? Who does he have the best aggregate score against?
Oh,
I know it's kind of like a multiple choice question, but
I feel like he's only played Livingston once as Hearts manager. Is that right?
Okay, I'm not telling you. You need to try and work that out.
Ouch.
He's been in charge for 26 games, I believe. In all comps.
Oh no. Did we drop? No. No, under Robbie, we lost 1-0. We drew 1 each. And drew 0-0. I think that was before Naismith came in. I was tempted to say Livingston, you know.
Right.
I'm just going to go with that and just eliminate all other working because it came to me. I'm going to go with it.
So the correct answer is St Johnstone.
Wow, is it really?
Because he's actually only played all of them. Well, Kilmarnock he's played twice in all competitions.
Livy once, St Johnstone once.
Yeah, and
St Johnstone started the season 2-0.
Yep, so he's two goals up.
That's annoying.
Whereas
so it's a goal that's done me.
Killy and Livingston are 1 goal ahead.
Oh man.
Okay, I just saw it as a stat that it was like every team he's played in the aggregate score. The Old Firm does not make for good reading.
Oh, I bet it doesn't.
At all. Ross County makes for class reading, considering we beat them 6-0.
Of course, yeah.
In the last season. That was great. So, move on to the true or false. So, true or false, combined, the rest of the Hearts squad this season has less goals than Lawrence Shankland this season.
Oh. I feel like this is true, but I swear to God, if it's false and they're tied, I will kill you. I'm going to go true.
The correct answer is false.
Oh, get up here.
The Shankland has scored 10 in all competitions, as we know.
The collective 11.
The rest of the squad has 12.
Wow, really? Don't think there's as many as that.
And then also, there is 2 own goals that are separate. Count. But
I genuinely thought it'd be like 10-9. I didn't think it'd be as high as that.
The split is Shankland with 10, And then the rest of the squad reads as Oda 2, Devlin 2, Forrest
4,
2,
6,
Ofaya 1,
7,
Tagawa 1,
8,
Boyce 1,
9,
Grant 1,
10,
Lowry 1,
11,
Vargas 1.
12. Fair. Okay.
It very much lays bare.
Good question, that.
Yeah, I'm chuffed with that one. But it
That's a
very
good
much lays
question.
bare that Lawrence Shankland is the only one scoring goals in this team.
The undisputed GOAT.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got a multiple choice now here to help you try and get some points on the board.
Oh, Jesus. Because that'll bode so well for me.
So Blair
I'm having a
Spittle,
nuke here. I need something.
Blair Spittle scored against us at the weekend. However, who was the last Motherwell player to score against Hearts at Fir Park before that goal? Is it A, Blair Spittle again, B, Callum Slattery, C, Jonathan Obika, or D, Kevin Van Veen?
Kevin Van Veen never scored against us.
Right.
I think it's John Obika because he got the second in that 2-1 win toward the end. Was it Kettlewell's second game?
I can tell you the last time a Motherwell player scored against Hearts at Fir Park was in a 2-0 win
2-0.
last season.
Sorry, yes. Yeah, Obika, I think, got the second in that game, so I'm going to go John Obika.
The correct answer is that John Obika got the first.
Oh, you bastard.
And Blair Spittle got the second.
God.
So the answer is A, Blair Spittle.
I hate you so much.
I was like, if I put Obika in, he'll remember that Obika scored, and we'll go with that. I will also tell you, to potentially make you even more annoyed, there was 4 minutes between each goal.
You arsehole.
Now, I will say, they were separated by a half time.
This is a donut here. This is a big, fat, raging donut.
Right, your last chance to get a point before the Who Am I?
Hey, come on, Kennedy. Focus here, man.
At this point, last season, aka
Jesus Christ.
aka
I don't know.
12 league games, did Hearts have more or less points in the league?
Then what are we on? 17?
We are currently on 17 points. So at this point, 12 games in last season, did we have more or less than 17?
Jesus.
Or equal. I'll add that in. More, equal, or
Don't
less.
go through this. I mean, who adds that in?
I'll tell you, it's not the same. We don't have the same. We either have more or we have less. So this season, played 12 and have taken 17 points. Whereas last season, we played 12 and did we take more than 17?
I thought we had a better start last season, no?
I was about to say I don't know. I do know.
God.
I've got it right in front of me.
Oh, God.
I will also, actually, I'm going
to say less.
I'm going to give you
just less.
Or you got to go with that? I was about to give you
Yeah.
a further clue that game week 12 last year was the 4-3 Celtic game, which Shankland scored his hat-trick. But you've went with less, and the correct answer is less. He's got a point.
Lord.
He's
Jesus
got a point.
Christ.
So this
I just didn't want a 0. Thank God for that.
This season we have 17.
Ooh.
Last season,
Don't give a shit if I get the Who Am I right or not.
we had 14.
14, wow.
Now,
from 12 games.
There is the adage that we were playing in group stage European football and had a arguably harder start because we had a lot more away games than home games at the start. But yes, as of right now, we are 3 points better off than we were last time.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So you've done well. You got a point. We didn't get another 0. So I have no idea if you're going to get this. Who am I? Are you ready?
Probably not. Let's go for it.
Throughout my career, I have won 13 trophies. I was only at Hearts for 3 months, but I did manage to get a goal contribution in that time. I only
lost... single goal contribution.
Yep. I only lost 1 game whilst playing for Hearts and played in a game involving a big moment that involved a former guest of this podcast. I have only ever played in Scotland and Lithuania, and a year before joining Hearts, I had a trial with the club alongside 2 of my fellow countrymen who ended up being signed instead of me. Who am I? I'll get this man's.
What? And
Yeah.
a trial alongside my countrymen who signed instead of me, even though they signed for Hearts.
A year later.
Oh, for the love of Mike. Where do you even begin with that crap?
Would you like the clues again?
No. With a guest, it's got to be Andy Driver.
Okay. Is that one of your questions?
No. Right, I'm thinking out loud here. The guest has got to be Andy Driver. I feel like, oh God, I feel like it has been set up for like a derby goal or a goal against Celtic, maybe. I think Andy Driver scored against. Maybe doing him a disservice here. It might not even be Andy Driver. That's the beauty of this question.
Listen, Richard Cobb's got a lot of connections, all right?
Was it when Richard Cobb played against Gary O'Connor at 5?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this man was playing
Boyce's also in the mix. It's not going to be Boyce, though. It's too recent, and we've moved past all these Lithuanian jobbers. I'm assuming it is some Lithuanian jobber.
Is that a question?
No. Ironic that I've got the Yukio Bagcast.
Exactly, yeah.
Can he be Miko? Because he's ended up playing in Belarus and was it Ukraine I saw?
Maybe. I can't mind.
His retire. Don't give us this, McIver. It's not Solis Michaelides. You wouldn't do this.
Miko played for more than 3 months.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So, oh God, the clues have already gone out my skull.
Right, hold on. Right, I'll read the clues again.
All right, thank you.
In my career, I have won 13 trophies.
That's a lot.
I was only at Hearts for 3 months, but I did manage to get a single goal contribution in that time.
One single goal contribution in 3 months. How the hell am I meant to remember that?
I only lost 1 game for Hearts and played in a game involving a big moment concerning a former guest of this podcast. I have only ever played in Scotland and Lithuania. A year before joining Hearts, I had a trial with the club alongside 2 of my fellow countrymen, and they both ended up being signed.
Right, so it's got to be a Lithuanian at Hearts. That narrows it down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jankowskis, no.
Run through
no.
every Lithuanian you've ever played for.
Chesnauskas, no. I mean, I'm thinking of somebody like an Ivaskevicius or... Have we had Ivaskevicius on here? I don't even think so. I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
Oh, God. Right, so this is annoying because I want to ask questions, but if they've only played in Scotland and Lithuania, then they have to be Lithuanian. Surely, for the love of God. The 2 of my countrymen going on trial thing as well. It makes sense. All the stars are aligning for Lithuanian here.
But what if he's not?
I want to ask about the goal contribution because it's really throwing me off.
Is that your question?
Can I ask, like, in which game did that come? Or, like, against who did that come?
Yeah. Is that your question?
Can I ask in which game that came, McIver, please?
His only goal contribution came as an assist against Falkirk.
It's Falkirk. Jesus. I'm a Falkirk last in the SPL. That was a nipper. Oh, God. An assist against Falkirk. So it is Andy Driver territory. Oh, God. Oh. This is honking, man.
It's a bad one, like. I kind of thought you'd do really well in the early questions, so I'd give you a hard one. And as you kept getting stuff wrong, in my head I was like, oh my God, and he's got this horrible who am I?
Thanks.
I will say,
You get a correct goal scorer just in the wrong order. Just sums up my luck when it comes to this quiz.
I will say, he's 10 years more recently than that fucking mental guy you gave me a few weeks ago.
Who was that? That Kizzes or whatever. What was he?
Was he Jamaican?
Who's the Jamaican?
The guy who was in like
Fitzroy Simpson. Yeah.
I was like, he played
that
when
wasn't
I was
me,
2.
to be fair.
You still chose it.
No, that was John.
That was John. Oh, you've still got another question, remember?
2010. Yeah, I know, but like, what do you ask? Like, it's a Lithuanian that plays for Hearts. Great. What's like saying, it was a quiz that Adam fucked up in.
I think there is a clue that if you knew another thing, it could help you a lot if you asked a certain question pertaining to it.
What position did they play in McIver?
They played centre half.
Centre half?
Oh, actually, Wikipedia has centre half and occasionally right back. I can tell you, actually, I'll even give you this for free. He got his assist whilst playing right back. But the remaining 6 games,
bloody right back.
The remaining 6 games he played at centre half. The look on your face is incredible. This is why you need to be listening to this on YouTube, guys, because his face right now is amazing.
Who remembers a Lithuanian right back? Assuming this guy is Lithuanian, we still don't
really
know.
Dependent on the fact that he's Lithuanian.
Adamant he's Lithuanian. No, I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. I can't even remember them all. This is the problem.
There is a lot to choose from.
I need to go back and do some serious digging around this time. I need to contact the club historian and they can educate me on all this. Excuse me. Oh, for the love of all that's holy. I don't know. A right back stroke centre half, Lithuanian.
A final clue I will give you.
Fairly successful. Go on.
Is that I'd never heard of this man.
Oh, great. Oh, so then I've definitely never heard of him.
Hey, however, though, you can just pull... I had never heard of Anthony Basso, and you fucking pulled that out. I couldn't remember Steve Simmons, and you pulled that out of nowhere. You can pull stuff out of nowhere.
I know, but it's see when they've got memorable names.
Yeah, that's true.
This Lithuanian brother, I'm gonna have absolutely no idea who he is. I'm just gonna guess Ivaskevicius because I said it. I know it's not right, but we'll go for Ivaskevicius because I have no idea who the hell it is. I'm fairly certain he was a winger. I'm not even sure that that's 100% legit. So Ivaskevicius it is. No idea.
The correct answer is Tomas Kancelskis.
Kancelskis.
The famous Tomas Kancelskis.
Remember his career like nothing else.
To give you...
Was it Kancelskis or Kancelskis?
Oh, Kancel. Skis.
I thought it was Kancelskis.
It probably is Kancelskis, yeah. But, so the first clue, in my career, I've won 13 trophies. He is an absolute legend. Over 200 appearances.
Zalgiris Vilnius?
Guess the other team it would be.
FBK Kaunas.
Correct! He's got it. Over 200 games for them.
What a surprise!
Yep, in which he won 9 league titles, 3 cups, and a Super Cup, all in Lithuania. I was only at Hearts for 3 months.
Well done, Tam.
Yep, well in. He was on loan at us, and he got an assist against Falkirk. He only ever lost 1 game. We got beat off Aberdeen 1-0. And he played in that, but...
Presumably at Pataudry, because we never went up there.
It was at Pataudry, yes.
There's a shock.
Yep. He did get a point for that. And the game he played in was the title party spoilers when we beat Celtic 3-1 at Parkhead and Driver scored that free kick. He played in that game.
Bloody hell.
And then I've only ever played in Scotland and Lithuania. And then the question that potentially people might get it if they have that weird knowledge is that he played in the friendly against Osasuna, where we signed Zal and Velichka at the end of it. A year, but I was at that game, I know.
I think I was as well.
He was one of 5 Lithuanians who were on trial in the
Jesus,
game,
what?
and Zal and Velichka were the 2 that got signed.
Yeah.
And then a year later, he joins us on loan anyway from Kaunas.
Don't remember him, mate. I'll be honest.
Neither
I'm really toiling. Like I say, I remember the surname. I'm certain it was Arkanchelskis, but
it probably is Kanchelskis.
Would never got that.
Yeah, it was a very hard. I saw his name and was like, "Who is he?" And then I saw he was in that game against us, and I was like, "Oh bloody hell!" So I saw him play. Like I know for a fact I saw him playing.
I probably did as well. I mean, the fact that Falkirk were in the SPL at that time as well just speaks absolute volumes. Holy smokes.
Crazy. But let us know if you got Tomas Kanchelskis / Kanselkis. It would be very impressive if you did. That is definitely one of our hard ones. But we hope you enjoyed trying to guess it, and we hope you've enjoyed the entire episode generally. If you did, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. It massively helps us out. If you've been watching Adam toil on YouTube, try to remember this guy's name. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are at Perth to Paisley on all the forms of social media. perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can catch me watching the highlights of Tam's career and watching FPK Kaunas, a DVD decade of success. At Adam T. Kendall. What about yourself, mate?
I am at Steve McIver22. No episode next week. We'll be back after the St Johnstone game to discuss all the fallout of that. If Cam McGregor and Stephen Naismith have fought each other, and we might have a guest on to explain himself, basically.
But we'll see. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, we'll see. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
What?